James Roberts then will start on pole position. Caden Simpson alongside with Alex Jones and Aston Brown on row number 2. Samuel Lowdy and Toby Dukes are on row 3. Then it's Drew Davidson and Jos Huschke on row number 4. Then we're going to have Harry Neeson and Daniel Minto to complete the top 10. Ella Lucia and Logan Lauder are on row number 6. And it's going to be Jack Hutchinson and Jack Baker with an all-Jack row number 7. Dax Farah and Hassan Khan are on row number 8. Ellis Charles and Logan Jones complete your runners in our Micro Max class. Micros then will be sent on their way, I think, in around about now's time, as they make their way out onto track, and then the helpers make their way across to watch. So just having a quick look at some of the races now and where drivers need to finish to win the championship. Certainly with Nicholas Ellis having issues in junior Rotax, it's really opened the door for Jacob Dukes to get this one wrapped up early in that junior Rotax class. Could potentially win the title if he finishes second behind Ellis or Shields. If he finishes in front of Ellis or Shields, the championship goes to Jacob Dukes in junior Rotax. So that will be one to look out for in our standings. The junior max being the first of our finals after the Honda Cadet B. Then we go Micro, Mini, Junior Pro and Honda Cadet for their final at the end of the day. Over the line they come then for Micro Max, and we're away and racing. It's a good start from Roberts. It's a good start from Jones, who's through down the inside of Caden Simpson, who's forced out and will drop down into 4th place, having started in 2nd. Aston Brown with a good start, and then we've got Toby Dukes down the inside as Hasnan Khan carries too much speed into the hairpin and then spins and rejoins over the grass. We've got a cart off on the outside. That's a 17 of Jack Baker as well here in Micro. So Khan going down the inside, hard on the brakes on cold tyres. And the driver who's won the last 3 rounds of the Hooton Park IKR series. And he's gone very, very well earlier on in the day. He's going to have his work cut out here then in heat number 3, as there's a bit of contact there between Caden Simpson and Toby Dukes. Dukes tried to get to the inside of Simpson. Will do so again now out of the 2nd corner. Down the inside as well comes Drew Davidson, and Drew Davidson is tipped into a spin. The cart halfway alongside Caden Simpson. The door closed then on Drew Davidson, and Davidson gets tipped into a spin. Be one of those that is put down there to a racing incident as the door closed on Drew Davidson. And as the front gets tagged, the rear goes light and the 70 spins round. The leading trio have moved away ever so slightly, with Roberts, Jones and Aston Brown now having a bit of a gap back to Toby Dukes, who's found a way past Caden Simpson. Can Dukes do anything to close up on those in front of him? Minto, who's done well as well so far today, is in 8th place as Ella Lucia loses a place to the 33 of Logan Lauder. Drops her outside the top 10. Over start finish they come then, with James Roberts still leading the way from Jones. And there's going to be a move from Dax Farah down the inside of Ella Lucia, and Farah was coming in there very, very hot, and he loses a place to the 8 of Ellis Child. That moves Childs then up into 12th place. And the white helmet with the red stripe down there in the background. We see Jack Baker, who had the opening lap excursion onto the grass, and Drew Davidson, who had the spin a lap later. They begin to make their way to try and catch back up to this field. Roberts continuing to lead the way then from Alex Jones as they cross the line 2.5 minutes into this 8-minute opening heat number 3, and we'll be able to put the numbers together and see where everybody is gridded up for the final. Simpson is still in 5th. Minto behind, trying to find a way through as Simpson goes defensive to the inside of the track. Minto then struggling to find a way, and that could back him into Samuel Lowdy. He's on the outside here as they make the run up, and Daniel Minto is going to try and hold it all the way around the outside, and Caden Simpson is having absolutely none of that. Has a quick tap of his helmet as well, suggests that to Minto that he might want to think of a different place on the track to find a way through, because that corner is only ever going to work for one driver. Minto, though, back into the slipstream of Caden Simpson as they head down towards the first corner. Dax Farah with the fastest lap of the race as Harry Neeson sweeps around the outside of Samuel Lowdy, moves him up into 7th place. Now Simpson still defending to the inside of Daniel Minto. Minto this time goes to the outside, trying to get a better drive around that corner. Neeson behind, he's giving the instructions to Lowdy that they want to work together. We've got Josh Hushka as well right into the mix as he continues his development since moving into this class. His first race in Micromax for Jos Hushka, acquitting himself very well, and it does look like now we have got a move done down the inside. That's Hasnan Khan coming back through down the inside of Ella Lucia and bouncing up and over the curbs. So just having a quick look at the points on the some comments coming in. Catherine Donachie asking, do you get points for fastest lap? You do not, but you get the bragging rights for doing so. Maisie Creed saying, wow, well done again, Lizzie. And she comes through. She has done in most of the heats, sort of dropping back 1 or 2 places in the early phases of that junior Rotax, and then the kart coming good and moving through towards the latter part of the race. And now Minto has managed to find a way through past Caden Simpson, but now has quite a big gap to those in front, as you can see them bouncing through. Hasnan Khan is starting to come back through the field now, and he's up into 11th place at the very least. I think it could now be 10th. I think he's got past Jos Hushka into the first corner and has begun to move away and catch up onto the back of Logan Lauder, if possible, in front. Neeson is side by side with Caden Simpson as they head towards the S's. Now with 2.5 minutes remaining in this one, Roberts and Jones still nose to tail out at the front. Then there's the field behind as Neeson tries to get to the inside of Simpson, and then that loses him a place to Lowdy as Lowdy comes down the inside. Then they're going to be 2 and 3 wide because that's Hasnan Khan to the inside of Harry Neeson at a corner where he's already had one excursion, and he's squeezed out once again is Hasnan Khan. That's going to drop him a few places. This time back behind Ellis Child, a driver that he's already had to come past once, and drops down now back into 13th place. A few laps remaining then. I think he's got back through as Khan, but we'll confirm that in a minute. No, he's up into 11th. Child's up into 10th place. So in terms of time on the last lap, you see who's dropped away on that one. Josh Hushka drops down to 14th, loses 3 places as Hasnan Khan this time does get down the inside of Ellis Child, but then carries a little bit too much speed into Jos Hushka. Minute and 40. The leaders go over start finish with a minute remaining. Daniel Minto sets a personal best. Fastest lap of the race is actually Drew Davidson, who's in 17th. After that opening lap excursion, we've got 3 and 4 karts wide, and Caden Simpson's going to get squeezed out into the run round the second corner as we follow the field down into the hairpin at the far end of the track. Caden Simpson on the previous lap dropped 2 places behind Lowdy and Lauder. He's dropped a few more now behind Neeson. And he's in front of, he could be all the way down into 15th, unfortunately, having been forced out wide. Alex Jones with the new fastest lap of the race this time with a 40.098 in second place. His quest to get past James Roberts as we stay with the rest of this field as they dive towards that first corner. And Simpson has indeed dropped down to 15th in front of Baker and Davidson. Child drops out of the slipstream, just trying to go defensive ever so slightly into the hairpin at the bottom. The time will elapse down to 0 at the top of the screen, which means that when James Roberts comes round in a few moments' time, as he has done, we go on to our last lap here at Hooton Park. They're making their way through some lap traffic, and Roberts and Jones. And Roberts has managed to take advantage and move away ever so slightly. At the front of this one is James Roberts, with Alex Jones in second place and Aston Brown in third. Dukes, Minto, Lowdy, Lauder, Khan, Child and Neeson, the top 10 as it stands at the moment. Or Brown gets a really good run there out of the double left through the chicanes. And then Alex Jones goes wide and opens the door for Aston Brown to come down the inside. Roberts takes the victory, and Aston Brown inherits second place. A mistake by Alex Jones at the final corner drops him down into third place, with Dukes, then Minto, Lowdy, Lauder, Khan, Child and Neeson completing the top 10 in front of Lucia, Farah, Hushka, Jones, Baker and Simpson, with Davidson and Jack Hutchinson, your 18 runners.